watching the game. I'm your host, Idrees and joined today by Yunis as the NBA Finals matchup is set. It'll be the Milwaukee Bucks, the third seed in the East, taking on the Phoenix Suns, the second seed in the West. Initial thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, my prediction is pretty sure Phoenix is going to win it in about 6 or 7 games. I don't know if you heard of the guy that tweeted a few years back that Milwaukee's going to win it in like game 7. He predicted the final score as well.
I saw that. People get lucky. I'm gonna first say that I think I'm basing this off of I think Giannis will play the entire series. Obviously, we don't know, but hopefully he will. If he does, with the way the Bucks supporting cast played at the end of the Hawks series, I would say I would take the Bucks in 6, actually. Because the way Holiday and Middleton woke up and played incredibly the last 3-4 games of that Hawks-Bucks series, combine that with Giannis coming back, I just have more faith in them than the Suns, who didn't get in a lot of touches, even though he was playing very well against the Clippers. Booker struggled outside of game 1 and 6. And Chris Paul, obviously he'll be very good, but he's choked in the first round, he's choked in the second round, he's choked in the conference finals. Now he has a chance to choke in the NBA finals.
You have a good one there, but I mean, Milwaukee did step up when Giannis went out, but my only concern is will they be consistent and consider that play into the finals? Will it go back to normal if Giannis continues to play?
Yeah, that's another thing to worry about, because if I would be worried about Budenholzer getting out coached. I mean, he's in the NBA playoffs. He's been out coached pretty often by equally talented teams. He got out coached in the Nets series. He just lucked out that Irving and Harden were injured. Last year he got absolutely outclassed by Eric Spoelstra. The year before by Nick Nurse. So I'd like to see if Monty Williams can do that as well.
Yeah, and in the two matchups they had in the regular season, the Phoenix Suns won by 1 point in both games.
That's another interesting thing. It'll be close. I don't think it's gonna be I would doubt it's gonna be. There's gonna be blowouts in this series.
Yeah, I would doubt it would end at 5. It's gonna go to 6 or 7.
Very even looking matchup all around. I mean, let's take a look at point guard Holiday versus CP3.
CP3.
Yeah, CP3, but I'm liking how Holiday's playing right now. I mean, Bledsoe on this team right now, they would have been out in the first round. That's how big Drew Holiday is for them. Shooting guard, you got
and
Middleton versus Booker. People are gonna say Booker, but I don't know. Middleton is playing better as of late. Middleton doesn't even need to stop Booker. He just needs to match him. And I think they can do that to each other.
come on now, D-Book's not gonna have the mask anymore. He's gonna go off like he used to.
We're really not gonna blame the mask for that one. He was playing badly before he had to wear a mask. What else is there? Small forward.
Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, and Giannis.
Yeah, that's Giannis, obviously.
Well, Jay Crowder is probably gonna end up guarding him, but
No, I would give Jay Crowder zero chance to guard Giannis. That's gonna be a problem.
Maybe just because of the size differential, but between Bridges and Crowder.
As long as Giannis isn't settling for fadeaways and 3-point shots, if he takes them in the post, takes them to the rim, he'll have an easy 30 points every night. Power forward. I assume the Suns were starting PJ Tucker. I mean the Bucks were starting PJ Tucker, right?
Yeah.
It'll be between PJ Tucker and Bobby Portis against like probably Bridges. And I mean Tucker offers nothing on offense, literally. If you put
Yeah, he has a
Portis
defensive
in,
mindset.
he's an energizer, but you like him off the bench better. So then Bridges, you got 3 and D potential. So I would possibly take Bridges there, but I don't think either of them are going to be that big. They're going to have a large role offensively. And then you have
Then at the center,
Ayton versus Lopez. Uh, Brook Lopez should be able to guard Ayton better than Zubats and the Clippers did. He can also, I think one thing that'll be big is Lopez is going to need to get hot from three. Because if he can stretch the floor, take Ayton out of the paint, that opens up a lot for Middleton, Holiday, Giannis.
yeah. I mean, his shot is on and off. Sometimes he'll be hitting like 6 threes a game, and then sometimes he'll just go like 1 for 7.
What the Bucks need to do is they need to not be settling for a lot of threes. They shot very well against the Hawks in Game 6, so it was fine. They were like 13 for 26 in the second half, but when it's not falling and they keep just jacking it up, they're their own worst enemy. At that point, they need to just drive in, attack the basket all the time.
Yeah, I think Monty Williams' game plan on defense for that is just the main priority is to stop Giannis from getting into the paint and scoring all his buckets from the paint. I think they're gonna force Milwaukee to take some shots from deep and see if they can knock them down.
And then for the Bucks to stop the Suns, it's too bad they don't have like a Patrick Beverly. Well, I mean, they would need Tucker to play like Beverly did last series. If he could, the way Beverly was playing, Booker was very good. Tucker did somewhat well on Trae Young, but they switched a lot. So
Yeah, that's the thing. Would you trust Tucker on a guard like D Book?
I think they should
Yeah,
try it out again
wow.
where they switch often. Like against Trae Young, they switched a lot. They forced him to keep taking threes, and it didn't work. So if they can do that, they can switch between Holiday and PJ Tucker. And then Giannis as a help defender. You don't let him get those. Once he gets into his spot in the mid range, it's automatic. So if you can knock him off, don't let him get to those spots, then you'll have won the game on the defensive side. Off the bench, I think the most important player for the Bucks off the bench is Portis. He was
Yeah, he
great
needs to
against
come
the
out with
Hawks.
energy, and on the offensive side of the ball, he has to be a scorer for them.
For the Suns, best player off the bench, it'll either be Cameron Payne or Cameron Johnson. I think as they'll try to like outshoot the Bucks, it'll be Cameron Johnson will be a little more important. I'm not sure Cameron Payne could score on Drew Holiday if they get matched up.
Yeah, maybe Payne won't be that much of a scorer, but his energy off the bench and his defensive game has definitely improved. And he's been doing better than Johnson this postseason, so I would definitely say Payne.
What else? the Suns have home court advantage. We'll see how packed that stadium is. First time there since 1993. And the
Yeah, it's been
Bucks,
28 years for Phoenix.
first time since 1974, so even longer.
I mean, I feel happy for both of these teams getting a chance back in the finals, especially with the great teams that they have.
So it's kind of a case of like, this is a year where the NBA champion isn't necessarily like the best team from that year. It's not to discount it, obviously. The ring, like the championship, will still count and everything. It's not to be like, oh, there should be an asterisk, but I mean, the best team in the West was probably the Clippers, and then maybe the Jazz. The best team in the East was the Nets, definitely. But obviously, injuries are part of the
Yeah,
game, so
but
it happens.
yeah, a part of that asterisk, man, injuries are going to be a question. Because, I mean, if you look at into almost every round in this playoffs, you've had injuries that just considered and changed the ending of things.
There's literally every team except like the Suns, unless you want to count unless you want to count even for the Suns, who had Chris Paul randomly miss 2 games because of protocol. So let's see. 1 seed 76ers. Danny Green got injured. He was out. Embiid played injured. Wizards. Thomas Bryant's been out. Right, I think that's Knicks. Mitchell Robinson's been out. Derrick Rose missed a bunch of games. The Hawks, DeAndre Hunter has been out most of the playoffs. Cam Reddish literally just came back for this series. Nets, obviously, Kyrie and Harden got injured during the Bucks series. The Celtics, Kemba Walker was injured. And then the Heat, I feel like Jimmy played half the
Oh, I
year.
mean, if you want to consider Oladipo, but not really.
Oladipo literally played like 2 games and then got injured. And then the Bucks, Giannis
Gonna be a
got
free
hurt.
agent anyway.
DiVincenzo too. Though I guess DiVincenzo's not great. In the West, Conley got hurt. Mitchell played injured. Maybe the Grizzlies weren't injured. The Grizzlies would. Oh well, Jaren Jackson missed like 90% of the season.
Yeah, he came back like the
Yeah.
last 2 or 3 weeks.
Clippers, obviously Kawhi got hurt. Mavs. I would like to say Porzingis basically played like he was injured. He was useless. So maybe the Mavericks might have not had anyone injured. Lakers, AD. Suns, literally just CP3 for those 2 games. Blazers. Actually, maybe the Blazers also didn't have any injuries. And then the Nuggets, Jamal Murray and PJ Dozier. So yeah, it's just hopefully this doesn't happen again, because this is just a big black spot on the entire playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it is part of the game, but we always try to have a fun and entertaining series. So hopefully injuries don't ruin it as much as they did this year.
Alright. And then my last prediction, like I said, Bucks in 6 games if Giannis is healthy. If Giannis misses a game, Bucks in 7.
Gonna go Suns in 7.
Alright.
With or without Giannis, I think it's still gonna be Suns in 7.
Alright, let's move on to soccer. The Euro and the Copa America semifinals are set. Let's take a look at the Euro round of 16, which was very eventful. First of all, I'm very annoyed that France choked.
Had to be
Rabiot,
Mbappe.
Mbappe, Deschamps, all of them. Oh my god. Terrible performance. Kimpembe, Varane, Longley. Everyone not named Pogba or Benzema
And Conte.
and Conte has to do better. Seriously, blowing a 3-1 lead in the last 10 minutes and then losing in penalties. After all the chances Pogba created for Mbappe. And taking out Griezmann for Sissoko for some reason. They should not have lost that game. They should have won.
Yeah, it was disappointing for France to end their tournament early. I mean, a great game by Switzerland. Severovic scored the tire, and overall, great play by Switzerland. Sadly, they ended up losing in the semifinal, though.
And then Switzerland had 5 amazing penalties in that shootout, but then next game against Spain, who also blew a 2-goal lead to Croatia but ended up winning in extra time. But then against Spain, they had a terrible shootout. I mean, literally one made penalty, and the other 3 were really bad. 2 missed, 1 got saved.
Talk about that controversial play by Jon Sommer, the Swiss goalkeeper. Do you think he jumped off his line?
No, people are overreacting. He did not. I'm pretty sure his foot was still on the line. And even then, France screwed themselves. They can't be complaining about that. The ref is right there looking at the line. Jan Sommer got all the help against France, but then he got no help against Spain. He had like 10 saves, which was a record for a Euro quarterfinal, and then nobody could hit a penalty. It's too bad. I can't believe Spain is making the semifinals. Their team is not that good.
I mean, we started off questioning their team in the first 2 games of the tournament. I mean, they stepped it up a bit. I mean, Morata has been carrying. We'll see what they have against Italy, which is going to be a very tough task.
I mean,
speaking of Italy,
they did
man,
well against Croatia, but they
their
could
victory
barely
over
beat
Belgium.
Switzerland, so I don't know about that. Yeah, Italy. I don't think they're gonna beat Italy. I'm sorry. I think this should be Italy's pretty handy.
Yeah,
They dominated the group stage. They struggled a little against Austria, but they pulled it out in extra time. And then they beat Belgium 2-1. So I mean, they pretty much they outclassed Belgium enough. You know.
yeah, but don't forget Belgium did have Hazard out, and De Bruyne played through injury.
I mean, of all the teams left, Italy's easily the most talented remaining. Nobody. It's
Some can argue that
very
England
hard to
can.
score on Bonucci, Chiellini.
What do you think of England? Do you think they have a chance with Italy if they advance to the final?
Maybe, especially because Spinazzola got injured, ruptured his Achilles, and now he's out. But I'm still not sold on England being better than Italy, because Italy has everything working for them. The only thing not really working for Italy right now is Immobile is not playing great. Otherwise, their midfield, their defense, their keeping, even their manager, they have the best of all the teams remaining. Like, easily. I mean, I know Belgium. They weren't. I know Belgium had their injuries and all, but Belgium had still beaten Portugal. They're still a top team in the world, even with those guys hurt. And they were clearly better than them. England, I mean, they did well to beat Germany 2-0. Limited Germany's chances, and then they blew out Ukraine 4-0, but even those, they're like, what, three other goals were off of set pieces, corners.
Yeah.
That's just like, okay, Ukraine was the worst team to advance, and then they got lucky with that 1/20th minute winner against Sweden. Like, I think Sweden could have beaten England. Plus,
I
half of
think it would
Ukraine's
have
players
been
got hurt.
it would have been a closer matchup, but I still think England would have won.
It definitely wouldn't have been 4-0. It would have been like 2-1. Like, England
Yeah,
not conceding a goal so far doesn't make sense to me. They have good defense, but it's not like an amazing defense.
yeah, they're the only team to yet concede a goal in the tournament.
But I will say Denmark will definitely score on them. Denmark is Denmark's the second hottest team in the tournament after Italy. Like, Spain's doing good and all, but Denmark, first of all, the first game it should have just been called a tie. They got screwed by UEFA. Second game you lose close to Belgium, whatever. Then they blow out Russia, they blow out Wales, they beat Czech Republic more convincingly than whatever Spain did with Switzerland. So I'm gonna say that Denmark-Italy game, it's gonna go to extra time and it's gonna be like 2-2 or something.
Bold
But
prediction taking Italy.
England will still win. It'll be close though.
You think the pressure's on for England with the home field advantage?
Yeah, it's there, but it's not like too big of a deal. I mean, they'll just have the fans on their side. Which should help them out. And then, like I said, I would say Italy beats Spain 3-1.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And then in the final, Italy 2, England 1.
Yeah, I'm taking Italy all the way to England versus Italy in the final. I see 2-0 Italy.
And in the Copa America, long group stage is finally over. The only teams that really looked good were Brazil and, to a lesser degree, Argentina. So, quarterfinal, the first
You
game.
can argue Peru as well.
Well, Peru was pretty decent too. The first quarterfinal game was crazy. It was a 3-3 Peru Paraguay, and both teams got a red card, and then Paraguay scored a 90th minute to tie it and send it to penalties, but Peru ended up winning 4-3 in what's it called, sudden death penalties. Peru's like the third or fourth best team in the continent, or they have been since 2018.
Yeah, but I think their run's gonna end tonight with their matchup against Brazil.
Yeah.
Brazil takes this all the way.
Brazil only beat Chile 1-0, but Chile was never really in that game, and they played almost the entire second half with 10 men. Brazil did, so to still win just shows how good they are. It's too bad right now. I feel like South America is going through kind of a rough time in soccer where only Brazil is really good, and then it's just everyone else is meh.
Yeah, Brazil's definitely the top, the powerhouse on the
All
country,
of
continent.
all of Chile's good old players, they're old. Yeah, they're not as good anymore. Didn't even make the World Cup last time. I don't know. I don't think they'll make the World Cup this time either. And then we had Colombia, Uruguay, which was a pretty good 0-0 game. What's it called? 1-0-0, and then Colombia won in penalties. David Ospina did very well there.
Yeah, two saves to win it for Colombia.
So Uruguay, you expect better from them. I mean, Colombia, they're playing without James and Cuadrado. They're both injured. Uruguay has most of their players, Valverde, Cavani, Suarez, but, you know, I don't know what was up with them. They just didn't do it. And then the last game was Argentina Ecuador. Argentina won 3-0, all behind Messi, who's been incredible this tournament. I honestly
Some can,
I want Brazil to win, but I would be really cool with seeing Messi finally win a international trophy.
yeah, I was gonna say, let's see if Messi can, take home his first trophy in the Copa America. Also, behind that Argentina 3-0 victory, I mean, they started off a slow-paced game. They weren't doing that well. I mean, it was pretty evenly matched. Ecuador was doing pretty good. Then, after that first goal, the momentum all shifted to Argentina, and they just took over.
Yeah, so it'll be Argentina, Colombia. I think Argentina should have this game. I'd be pretty surprised if they were to lose. And then third place match, I would say Colombia beats Peru. And then in the final, Brazil wins like 3-2 over Argentina. Something like that.
Yeah, something around those lines.
Yep. Alright. That covers everything today. We'll be back with you next time. This is Watching the Game.
Peace out.